this video, we're using a cajon for a kick drum. Coming up. Hi, my name is Cajon On. If this is your first time watching Rhythm Notes, please subscribe so we can help you level up your drumming today. Now, although this video is not necessarily geared toward how to play the cajon or the different traditional styles, we'll do some of those videos in the future. I want to share with you about my projects over the years using cajon as a kick drum. So I think it was like 2007 or 8 when one of my band leaders said, hey, you know, instead of playing drum set on this gig, can you bring percussion, congas, and things like that? And it was a reggae group, and I thought that was a good idea. It made sense for the kind of smaller venues we were going to be playing in, but I just wasn't sold on playing congas and bongo when I had been playing drum set for several years with this group. So I actually thought, why not cajon as a kick drum? And at the time, I didn't have Amazon to turn to, or I didn't necessarily think to even look for any sort of hardware that could help me connect a kick pedal to a cajon. I just went in my garage and grabbed some wood and figured out what I had and figured out what I didn't have. Went down to the hardware store, grabbed some perforated steel flat stock because I knew it would be easier to bolt things together that way, just like an erector set approach. And I just started grabbing what I had and put something together so that it could receive the kick pedal on the bottom of the cajon. Now this worked pretty well for several gigs with that band, and about a year later I got a call to play congas on a country album. Now, I'm cool with congas on country. I don't have a problem with that at all, but I thought the cajon as a kick drum and brushes and dowel implements on the cymbals, on the snare, would be perfect for this acoustic country album.
Day and a bottle of whiskey.
Turns out it worked great. I brought the conga anyway, set it up right next to my hi-hat. I played conga tracks on it because the producer was so set on congas on this album. I took some risks, but I was ready to be told no, just stick to the script. I had that conga drum. So this particular kick drum though, I still use, and I use it in this example right here. Now that particular setup has actually changed a little bit since then. I added a couple of congas, I took out the floor tom, I got the hi-hat and the ride on this side. It's kind of pushing me into different directions, but that's cool. That's why we do these things. That's why we take these risks and try to expand what we're doing musically and just challenge ourselves personally. You can buy hardware to attach the pedal. You don't have to go down to the hardware store and in your garage and start, you know, screwing stuff into your cajon that's handmade from Peru, which, by the way, I did not hurt the instrument at all. It's a brilliant instrument. I love it to death. I wouldn't let it go for anything. So I bought a Gibraltar clamp that receives the kick pedal. The thing about this particular clamp is it doesn't really hold the pedal as well, so I've tried different pedals and found one that worked. Sometimes you have to add things to the hardware and make it work better. It's not a problem. This thing was like less than $20. It wasn't a big investment. And you know, these days things come through Amazon pretty quickly, or Musician's Friend or Sweetwater. I could see how this would be tough to work with if you have a cajon that sits flat on the ground. If that's the case, just lift it up by buying some like furniture sliders at the hardware store, screw them in. You could also maybe just add a couple of pieces of wood, and then on the bottom of that, I think I just put the stuff that you put in like cabinets so that stuff doesn't move all around, or in drawers so things aren't moving all around. You could also spend a little bit more money, which is actually what I'm going to end up doing, and buy the kick drum setup that is about $100. I think they range from anywhere from like $100 to $160 or $80 for the really nice DW ones. But I'm going to look at like the Meinl product, because I've been thinking about the Meinl pedal where you can actually use your heel to hit the drum and you can still sit on it. That way I could use the pedal to play it, and I could also play it with my hands. I think that that would work for the setup that I've been working with lately, and still have the Peruvian Cajon with the kick pedal setup that I made years ago that still works. So I'm still working on that. Haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I'm sure I'll make a video of that in the future. One thing I do suggest is buying a kick drum beater for the Cajon. There's different beaters that work well. I really like the Vic Firth beater. I actually made a beater for the one in the video. The one in the video is the beater that I made years ago. And really, I just took a regular drum set beater and stapled some foam to the striking surface, and then I put like a sock on there and a zip tie. So it doesn't look great, but it sounds good, and it's getting the tone out of the Cajon that I want. Enough attack and enough of that warm sound. I use a Beta 91 inside the Cajon, and I think it gives you enough signal and enough of the frequencies to really get a good tone as you're recording. It also works really well in clubs. I've used that drum in clubs to play with acoustic acts, and putting a mic inside works wonderful. It also works really well to put any sort of kick drum mic on the sound hole, or even if you don't have a kick drum mic, I'm sure an SM57 would work. It works for everything, as always, right? If you like this video and you want to watch more, check out this one suggested to you by YouTube, and check out this one suggested to you by Rhythm Notes. Please subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.